You know that moment when you open your banking app, stare at the number and think, how is it this low? You worked all month. You did not go on vacation. You did not make any big purchases, at least not that you remember. And yet somehow your account looks exactly the way it did last month. Or worse, it feels like money is leaking out of your life through holes you cannot find, dripping through cracks you did not know existed. And the most frustrating part is you are not being irresponsible. You are not blowing cash at nightclubs or ordering designer clothes every week. You are just living. But living is costing you more than it should, and you can feel it even if you cannot prove it. Meanwhile, there is always that one friend, that one coworker, that one person in your life who makes roughly the same money as you and somehow always has more. More savings, more options, more calm about the whole thing. And when you look at their life, it does not look deprived. They are not eating rice and beans in a dark apartment. They just seem lighter, like they figured out something you have not. What they figured out was not a budgeting trick. It was not a spreadsheet. It was 7 rules about how they relate to money, stuff, and the quiet costs that nobody ever warns you about. My name is Ivan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some people build wealth effortlessly while others stay stuck in the same financial loop for years. Let me walk you through all 7. Rule 1. Stop pricing things in dollars and start pricing them in hours of your life. This single shift in thinking will change the way you spend money more than any budget, app, or savings goal ever could. Because right now, when you see a price tag, your brain processes it as an abstract number. $80, $200, $45. Those are just digits. They do not mean anything real to your nervous system, but hours of your life, those mean something. Those you can feel. Here is how this works. Take your salary, subtract taxes, and divide by the number of hours you actually work in a year, including commuting time. If you earn $60,000 a year and take home roughly $45,000 after taxes, and you work about 2,080 hours plus another 500 hours commuting, your real hourly rate is roughly $17.50. Now, reprice everything in your life. That $80 dinner is not $80. It is 4.5 hours of your life. That $300 jacket is not $300. It is 17 hours of your life. That $900 phone upgrade is not $900. It is 51 hours, more than a full work week, traded for a slightly better camera. Suddenly the question changes. It is no longer, can I afford this? It is, would I work 51 hours specifically to hold this phone instead of the one I already have? And for most purchases, the honest answer is no. Rich Richard did this math once, wrote his real hourly rate on a sticky note, and put it in his wallet. Every time he reaches for his card, he sees it. $17.80. Before every purchase, he divides the price by that number. Not every time as some obsessive ritual, just enough that his brain rewired how it sees prices. Over the past year, he estimates this one habit saved him over $4,000, not from any dramatic sacrifice, but from dozens of small moments where the hours of life math made him pause just long enough to say, actually, I do not need that. Poor Peter still prices everything in dollars, and dollars are abstract. Dollars feel replenishable. Hours of your life do not, because they are not. He bought a $600 espresso machine last month because it was on sale from $800. He felt great about saving $200, but he never ran the math the other way. That machine cost him 34 hours of his working life, an entire work week traded for cappuccinos he could have made with a $40 mocha pot that works just fine. The savings he celebrated were irrelevant compared to the life hours he traded without blinking. Try this today. Calculate your real hourly rate after taxes, after commuting, after the extra time you spend answering emails on your phone at dinner. Write it down. Then the next time you are about to buy something, divide the price by that number. You will be surprised how quickly your spending changes when the currency is your one irreplaceable resource. A friend of mine did this last year and realized his daily coffee habit was not $5 a day. It was 18 minutes of his life every single morning for a beverage he could make at home in 3 minutes for about 30 cents. He did not stop buying coffee entirely, but he cut it from 5 days a week to 2, and that alone saved him over $700 a year, not because the math was complicated, because the framing finally made it real. Rule 2. Everything you own is charging you rent and you do not even know it. There is a hidden cost to ownership that almost nobody calculates, and it is silently draining money from your life every single month. It is called the space tax. Every item you own takes up physical space, and that physical space costs money. If you own a home or rent an apartment, you are paying for every square foot. The average American home costs roughly $10 per square foot per year in combined mortgage or rent, maintenance, utilities, and insurance. That sounds small until you realize that the closet full of clothes you never wear is costing you about $150 a year just to exist. That guest bedroom you turned into a storage room is costing you over $1,000 a year to hold things you have not touched since you moved in. Scale this up across your entire home and the numbers become staggering. Americans collectively spend $38 billion a year on self-storage units. $38 billion. That is not a typo. 1 in 11 households is literally paying rent for their stuff at an average of over $100 a month to store things they are not using. One woman paid $320 a month for 3 years to store items worth about $1,000 total. She spent more than $11,000 storing $1,000 worth of belongings. And here is the part that makes it worse. The average home contains roughly 300,000 items. You do not use 300,000 things, nobody does. 80% of the items in most homes are never used. They just sit there, collecting dust, taking up space, and charging you rent you never agreed to. Rich Richard went through his apartment last spring and counted the things he had not touched in over a year. There were over 200 items. He sold some, donated most, and freed up an entire closet and half his garage. He did not earn much from selling the stuff, but he saved himself the cost of upgrading to a bigger place, which he had been considering because he felt like he was running out of room. He was not running out of room. He was drowning in things he forgot he owned. Poor Peter keeps everything, just in case. He has 3 shelving units in his garage full of boxes he has not opened since he moved 4 years ago. He pays for a 2-bedroom apartment when a 1-bedroom would work fine because he needs the extra space. That extra space costs him roughly $400 a month, $4,800 a year, to store things he could not even list from memory if you asked him right now. He once told himself he was investing in these things by holding onto them, but an investment is supposed to return value. His garage full of forgotten boxes is returning nothing except a higher rent payment and a lingering feeling that he needs more room. This week, walk through your home with one question in mind. If I had to pay a separate monthly fee to keep each of these items, would I still keep them? You will probably find that at least 20 to 30% of your belongings would not survive that test. Get rid of them. Your space tax bill drops immediately. Rule 3, track why you spend, not just what you spend. Everyone talks about tracking your spending. Write down every purchase, categorize it, put it in a spreadsheet. That is fine, but it misses the deeper problem because the issue was never that you did not know you spent $40 at a restaurant. The issue is you do not know why you spent $40 at a restaurant when you had food at home and were not even hungry. Most financial advice treats spending like a math problem. It is not. It is an emotional problem. Research shows that over 1 in 3 people say their emotional state is the primary trigger behind their impulse purchases. 21% of impulse purchases happen specifically because of boredom. Not desire, not need, just boredom. People are literally buying things because they have nothing better to do. And it gets worse. 69% of Americans admit to emotional spending. Among them, stress drives 50% of those purchases, excitement drives 44%, and happiness drives 38%. The common thread is that heightened emotion, any emotion, makes you more likely to open your wallet. Here's what a boredom audit actually looks like. For the next 2 weeks, every time you buy something that is not a fixed bill or a genuine necessity, write down 2 things beside it. What you bought and how you were feeling at the moment you decided to buy it. Bored, stressed, tired, anxious, lonely, celebratory, restless. After 2 weeks, look at the pattern. You will almost certainly find that 80 to 90% of your unnecessary spending clusters around 2 or 3 specific emotional states. For most people, it is boredom and stress. Those are the 2 big ones. And once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. Rich Richard did this audit and realized almost all of his non-essential spending happened between 8 and 11 at night when he was tired, bored, and scrolling his phone. He was not shopping because he wanted things. He was shopping because his brain was understimulated and looking for a dopamine hit. Once he identified the pattern, he replaced the scrolling with reading and walking. His nighttime spending dropped by about 80% within the first month. Not because of willpower, because he stopped being in the emotional state that triggered the spending in the first place. Poor Peter tracks his spending religiously. He has a color-coded spreadsheet. He knows exactly how much he spends on coffee, groceries, and entertainment each month, but he never once asked himself why he bought those things in the first place. He tracks symptoms and ignores the disease. He can tell you he spent $230 on miscellaneous last month, but he cannot tell you whether any of those purchases happened because he was bored on a Tuesday night or stressed after a difficult meeting. The data without the context is just numbers on a screen. Start the audit this week. 2 columns: what you bought and how you felt. You will learn more about your financial habits in 14 days than any budgeting app will teach you in a year. Rule 4. Use it up before you buy more. There is a reason your bathroom has 4 half-used bottles of shampoo, your pantry has 3 open bags of the same pasta, and your desk drawer has 6 pens that still work but you bought new ones anyway. It is because modern consumer culture has trained you to buy replacements before you have finished what you already have. This habit is so normalized that it feels invisible. But when you add it up, the waste is enormous. The average American household throws away over $400 worth of food every year, not because it went bad, but because they forgot it was there and bought more. That is not a grocery problem. That is an awareness problem. You are not seeing what you already own, and it extends far beyond food. Think about your bathroom right now. How many lotions, creams, and hair products are sitting there, half used because you saw something new and wanted to try it? Each one costs anywhere from $8 to $25. Each one has 30 to 50% of its content still inside. That is money you already spent, sitting in a bottle, being ignored while you spend more money on the next version of the same thing. The use it up rule is absurdly simple. Before you buy anything consumable, finish what you already have first. All of it. Shampoo, conditioner, cleaning supplies, cooking oils, spices, notebooks, batteries, printer ink, toothpaste. Do not buy the next one until the current one is done. This does 3 things. First, it saves money. Obviously, you stop double buying things you already have sitting in a cabinet somewhere. Second, it forces you to actually look at what you own. You probably have no idea how much inventory you are sitting on. Third, and this is the part people do not expect, it creates a strange sense of satisfaction. Finishing a product completely, using every last drop, squeezing every bit of value from something before replacing it, feels weirdly good. It taps into something primitive about not wasting resources. Now, Rich Richard takes this to what some people would call an extreme, but it works. Once a month, he does what he calls Pantry Week. For 1 full week, he does not grocery shop at all. He eats only what is already in his kitchen. Freezer meals, canned goods, that bag of rice that has been sitting on the shelf for 2 months, the frozen vegetables he bought and then ignored because fresh ones were easier. By the end of the week, he has cleared out $60 to $80 worth of food that would have otherwise gone to waste. Multiply that by 12 months and he is saving over $700 a year just by eating what he already paid for. Poor Peter buys groceries every Sunday like clockwork. Full cart every time. Never checks what is already in his fridge. He throws out wilted lettuce and expired yogurt every week without thinking about it. It is only $5 or $10 each time, but $5 a week for 52 weeks is $260 a year in literal garbage. And that is just food. Add in the duplicate toiletries, the extra cleaning products, and the backup supplies he buys because he cannot remember what he already has. And the real number is probably closer to 500. Before your next shopping trip, open every cabinet, check every shelf, look in the back of the fridge, make a list of what you already have, then shop only for what you actually need to fill the gaps. You will be amazed at how much money is sitting in your home disguised as stuff you forgot about. Rule 5. Recognize the maintenance burden before you bring anything new into your life. This is the rule that most minimalists talk about philosophically but never quantify. Everything you own demands something from you, not just money, time, attention, mental energy, and physical effort. Every single object in your home is silently asking for maintenance, and the cumulative weight of those demands is costing you far more than you realize. Your car needs oil changes, tire rotations, insurance, registration, cleaning, and repairs. Your clothes need washing, drying, folding, ironing, and occasional trips to the tailor. Your kitchen gadgets need cleaning after every use, storage space, and eventual replacement. Your electronics need updates, charging, cases, screen protectors, and troubleshooting when they inevitably malfunction. And here's a statistic that should make you stop and think. Research shows that getting rid of clutter eliminates roughly 40% of housework in the average home. 40%. That means nearly half the time you spend cleaning, organizing, dusting, and maintaining your living space exists solely because of things you own that you probably do not need. Think about that in terms of hours. If you spend 5 hours a week on household chores, 2 full hours of that is maintenance on stuff that is not adding value to your life. That is over 100 hours a year. 100 hours spent cleaning, storing, and organizing things that do not serve you. If you are finding this helpful, consider subscribing. I cover topics like this every week, diving into the psychology behind money and the quiet habits that actually build wealth. Rich Richard applies what he calls the maintenance question before every purchase. He does not just ask, "Can I afford this?" He asks, "Am I willing to maintain this?" A new espresso machine is not just $300. It is $300 plus daily cleaning, monthly descaling, annual filter replacements, counter space it occupies, and the mental overhead of one more thing that can break. When he frames it that way, he buys about half the things he otherwise would have. Not because he cannot afford them, because he does not want to take care of them. Poor Peter loves gadgets. He has a bread maker, an air fryer, a juicer, a food processor, a stand mixer, a waffle iron, and a panini press. He uses the air fryer regularly. Everything else sits in cabinets, taking up space, collecting dust, occasionally making him feel guilty for not using them. Each one seemed like a great idea at the time. Each one came with a maintenance burden he did not account for. And collectively, they fill his kitchen with complexity that adds no actual value to his daily life. Before your next purchase, ask the maintenance question. What does owning this actually require from me on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis? If the ongoing cost in time and energy exceeds the value the item provides, it is not a bargain regardless of the price. It is a burden you are volunteering for. Rule 6. Every Sunday, take 60 seconds to reset your finances. The reason most people's spending drifts out of control is not dramatic. It is gradual. It is a subscription that auto-renewed, a free trial that started charging, a convenient service you signed up for and forgot about, a recurring payment that increased by a few dollars and you never noticed because it was buried in a bank statement you did not read. Financial drift happens slowly, which is exactly why it is so dangerous. You do not notice $5 here, $8 there, $12 a month for something you have not used since January. But over a year, those invisible charges add up to hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, leaving your account without your active consent. The fix is not a massive annual audit, although those help. The fix is a 60-second weekly reset every Sunday. Here is exactly what that looks like. Open your banking app. Scroll through the last 7 days of transactions. Look for anything that surprises you. Look for charges you do not recognize or do not remember agreeing to. Look for patterns like 3 separate food delivery charges on a week when you swore you would cook more. Look for small recurring fees that seem harmless individually but add up across a full year. That is it. 60 seconds. Maybe 90 if it was a busy week. You are not doing this to feel guilty. You are not beating yourself up over a lunch you bought instead of packed. The whole point is awareness. The moment you see where money went, you make slightly better decisions the following week. Not perfect decisions, slightly better ones. And slightly better decisions compounded over 52 weeks create enormous change. Rich Richard has done the Sunday reset for about 18 months. In the first month alone, he caught a gym membership he had not used in 3 months, a streaming service he forgot he added, and a cloud storage plan he was double paying for because he had signed up on 2 different email addresses. Total monthly savings from that first round, $47 a month. That is $564 a year, found in 60 seconds on a Sunday morning. But the bigger value is not the money he caught leaking. It is the awareness it built. Now, Rich Richard notices spending patterns almost in real time. He does not need an app to flag things for him. He just knows because he looks every week. And that weekly habit prevents a slow drift that turns into an expensive problem 6 months down the line. Poor Peter does a financial review once a year, usually in January when he is feeling motivated. He finds things, cancels a few subscriptions, promises to be better this year. By March, the drift has started again. By summer, he is right back where he was. Annual resets do not work because life moves too fast between them. 52 weeks of unchecked financial drift cannot be undone by one motivated afternoon in January. The damage accumulates quietly, week by week, charge by charge, until the gap between what you think you are spending and what you are actually spending becomes a canyon. Weekly resets take almost no time and they actually stick. This Sunday, try it. Open the app, scroll for 60 seconds, see what you find. You will probably be surprised, and that surprise alone is worth more than any resolution you have ever made in January. Rule 7. Know your survival number, down to the last dollar. This is the rule that quietly changes everything else. and almost nobody does it. Your survival number is the exact monthly dollar amount you need to keep a roof over your head, food on the table, the lights on, insurance paid, and your car running. Nothing else. Not restaurants, not subscriptions, not new clothes. Just the bare floor of your financial life. Almost nobody actually knows what this number is. They know roughly what they earn, they know roughly what they spend, but they do not know the precise amount below which their life stops functioning. And that vagueness is the problem, because when you do not know your floor, every spending decision feels equally weighted. A $50 dinner and a $50 utility bill feel like the same kind of expense. They are not. One keeps the lights on, the other is a choice. But without knowing your floor, you treat both as just things you pay for. And that blurriness erodes your ability to distinguish between what is essential and what is optional. Richard sat down one evening and calculated his survival number to the dollar. Rent, utilities, groceries for basic meals, car payment, insurance, minimum debt payments, phone bill. The total came to $2,340 a month. Everything above that number was either building his future or burning it. There was no middle ground. Once he knew his floor, something shifted. He looked at his actual monthly spending, which was hovering around $4,200, and could suddenly see exactly where the gap was. The $1,860 between his survival number and his actual spending was not invisible anymore. It had a shape, it had a name. It was restaurants, convenience purchases, streaming services, random online orders, and small treats that added up to almost $2,000 a month in optional spending. He did not cut all of it. That would be unsustainable and miserable, but he moved about $700 of it into savings and investments without feeling deprived at all, because now he could see clearly which expenses were choices, not obligations. He kept the things that actually mattered to him and dropped the things that were just noise. Poor Peter does not know his survival number. He knows his rent and his car payment. Beyond that, it is all a blur. He vaguely feels like he needs most of what he earns because it all feels essential. So he saves whatever is left over at the end of the month, which is almost always close to nothing, because when everything feels necessary, nothing gets cut. Calculate your survival number this week. Every fixed, non-negotiable expense. Write it down, then subtract it from your take-home pay. The number that remains is your decision zone. That is the money you have real control over. And once you can see it clearly, you will start making very different choices with it. If you want help figuring out where you actually stand financially, I built something that walks you through a few quick questions and tailors the results to your specific situation. It takes about 2 minutes. First link in the description if you want to try it. Richard added these 7 rules to his life over the course of about a year. He started pricing everything in hours instead of dollars. He calculated the space tax on his possessions and let go of what was not earning its keep. He ran the boredom audit and replaced his spending triggers with better habits. He used things up instead of buying more. He asked the maintenance question before every new purchase. He spent 60 seconds every Sunday catching the drift before it became a problem. And he knew his survival number down to the last cent. In 12 months, he saved over $11,000 more than the year before. Not from some windfall or a massive raise, from eliminating invisible costs that were bleeding him dry in ways he never would have noticed if he had not looked. Poor Peter watched this video. He thought the hours of life concept was interesting. He meant to try the boredom audit. He told himself he would calculate his survival number this weekend. He did not. Not because he is lazy, because inertia is relentless and knowing about a problem is not the same as solving it. Same income, same city, same opportunities, completely different financial trajectory, built entirely on whether these 7 rules stay ideas or become habits. Pick 2. Start there. Let them compound.